So in this episode, we're going to talk about pirouetting flying. Now it sounds kind of obvious, but the very first orientation you absolutely have to be able to do is you have to be able to fly around in forward flight. So you want to be able to do stall turns, you want to be able to do funnels, you want to be able to do funnels where you do little funnels inside of larger funnels. And this will just show or prove that you have control to make funnels smaller and bigger. And that's effectively a waltz. You need to do the same with inverted. We'll go up, do a stall turn. And then you've got to be able to fly around inverted as well. So we'll turn that into a funnel, put in a mini funnel, put another mini funnel. Then we'll just come around over here, and we might as well go and do a loop as well. I mean, this is all absolutely basic stuff. In fact, we're going to cover more of these maneuvers anyway in the other orientations. So the next orientation you have to be able to do is backwards. And we'll do exactly the same sort of thing. We'll just go into backwards flight. We'll fly it around a bit. And you can do this at the field. I mean, this is a great way to actually spend a day at the field, you're doing this kind of stuff. We're going to throw that out into a big circle. And then we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to bring it into a circle back towards us. It's going to do a backwards loop. Go into a stall turn as well. And we're going to do a funnel the other way. This is just making sure that you have complete control over this orientation. You can pretty much put it where you like. And just doing the basic maneuvers. The next orientation is going to be sideways flight, and it's going to be exactly the same thing. So here we're going to do flying to the right, stall turn, bring it down, go down into a tail down funnel. Make it smaller and smaller. Ooh. So we're still traveling to the right. Another stall turn, and then we're going to do a flip to inverted. So still traveling to the right, all the same maneuvers, mini funnel. And as I said, this is really good fun. You can fly around at the field, messing around with these sorts of orientations, and taking all of the maneuvers that you can normally do. So if you can do a figure of 8, go and do a right hand sideways figure of 8. Turn it to upright, so it's still going right. Okay, and that's probably enough for right hand side flight. And the last orientation is going to be left. So take all of those maneuvers, I'm just going to do it to the left. So stall turn again. Take it around into a circuit. A little funnel over there, into a circuit. Little funnel, continue the circuit. Flip it over, so we're still traveling to the left. Do some snaked. Take all those maneuvers that you know how to do. Just make sure you can do them to the left. Come out of the stall turn. And those are the 4 basic orientations. You will need to be able to do all of those to a high level. So then we're going to start off with 4-point pirouetting. So this is where we're going to fly around, and we'll just do a straight line for now. And we're going to do 4-point pirouetting. So you're flying forward, you have full control, do a quarter turn, and you fly it sideways. Now you still have full control at this point because you've done this before. And we're going to go backwards, stabilize it. Let's come back this way, quarter turn, stabilize it, turn, stabilize. And you have to stabilize. And what will happen is over time, the stabilization will come faster and faster. We can turn it into a large circuit. So you're flying backwards, quarter turn. You should be able to do all of this really easy. So it's the stabilization. So it's the turn that'll probably increase the discomfort. And then you should be able to stabilize and carry on exactly as you did before. Quarter turn, and we'll do the same inverted. Start off with a square, quarter turn, backwards, sideways, forwards, sideways, backwards, come down this leg. And then if we go into a circuit, forward, so you can do that, quarter turn, you should be just as comfortable doing sideways, backwards, sideways. And you can start doing these faster and slower. You can change direction as well. And each time you need to stabilize, you need to fly it before you make your turn. If you keep doing that, you can actually, your stabilization periods can be shorter and shorter, so you can literally fly like that. We can do the waltzes as well. So the small funnel, sideways, forward, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards, forward, change direction. All of that sort of stuff. Just finish with the stall turn. Whoop. So from here, you can now go into 2-point pirouetting flying. So 2-point pirouetting, exactly the same sort of thing, but we're going to do it forwards and backwards now. So forwards, 180, 180, 180, stall turn, 180, and as it comes down, 180, stabilize it, 180, stabilize it. Let's go into a circuit, 180, stabilize it. So you want to be flying. So do not do the second turn or pirouette until you've stabilized it and you're flying the model. So 180. I could do them the other way as well. Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. And you could even try things like loops. So here we're doing there, stabilize, start the loop, do a turn, then stabilize, carry on over the loop. 180, stabilize it, control on the way down, 180, stabilize it and finish. So you need to be really comfortable between all of that switching. And it doesn't have to be forwards and backwards. You can also do the nose downs as well, or the sideways. So here we're going to do a sideways, flying, 180, carry on sideways the other way, 180, carry on, flip, 180. So this feels, you need to get to the stage where this feels really comfortable and you can pretty much just switch any direction. We can go left, then go right, go left, go right. Actually, I think that was the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I think that's it for the 2-point. So after 2-point, we can move on to slow pirouetting. So slow pirouetting, you're going to fly very similar to the 4 points, where you're going to, let's start off in a straight line. We're going to slow pirouette, and this is going to be sideways, and then you're going to transition into forwards, transition into sideways again, backwards, now I'm going backwards, sideways, we'll do straight line the other way. And this should be very, very nice and slow. And you should see each orientation that you're flying. So as you should anticipate that you're now going to tail first. And you can even slow down the pirouette, just hold it there for a little bit and then speed the pirouette back up again. So sideways flight, forwards. Let's try something a little bit more tricky. Let's try a stall turn, sideways, backwards, into forwards, sideways, change rudder direction, forwards, sideways, into forwards again, and sideways. And then when you start getting really adventurous, you can do the same in loops. So this is obviously going to be a lot trickier. So we're going sideways, into forwards, to sideways again, into backwards, and into sideways. And of course, it's all the same with inverted. Sideways, into backwards, into sideways, forwards, and sideways. And the slower you can do these, the better, actually. It'll force you to have more control in the intermediate bits between forwards and in the sideways and backwards. You can do some circuits, sideways to forwards, sideways. Right, and they're going to be parts that feel uncomfortable, so you need to try and focus on those. Because anything you skip out now, what's going to happen is as we move further on, those are going to become areas where you avoid flying, which isn't great. Right, so for medium speed pirouetting, you cannot control all four orientations. It becomes too fast. So for example, if we do a straight line and you're going forward, side, back, forward, side, you can't actually keep up. So what you do is, as mentioned by Bert and Bobby in the Smack Talk episode on pirouetting funnels, you drop two of the orientations. So you only correct when you're either forwards or backwards. And then it becomes a lot easier because then you can go forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. And you only make the corrections when the model is in those positions. So let's go and do a square. Forwards, backwards, forwards, back, forwards, back. Let me do that. Opposite side. Forwards, backwards, forwards. Turn into a corner. And bring it back here. And then we're going to change direction. Forwards, backwards. When I say forwards, backwards, you need to get to the point where you're actually anticipating hitting forwards. So as you're turning, you can see it, it's on and there, and you're ready to make that correction. And I think that's maybe something they left out of the Smack Talk, is they spoke about maybe only correcting on two of the orientations, or maybe only one of the orientations. But at the higher speeds, you actually need to be ahead of the model. You need to be anticipating. It's going to hit forwards now, and it's going to hit forwards, and you're ready for it. So let's go and do some circuits, medium speed circuits. So forwards, backwards, backwards. Change the direction, forwards, backwards, forwards. Stall turn. So all the same maneuvers, forwards, backwards, forwards, back. All the same maneuvers, back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards. And then you want to be able to do it inverted as well. Let's change the rudder direction for fun. Back, forwards, back. You anticipate that nose coming around, tail, 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 front, tail, front, tail. And go this way too. Front, tail, front, tail, front, tail, front, tail. And I think most people can probably get up to medium without much difficulty. So let's go on to high-speed pirouetting. So here we're going to use full stick, which I think is set to about 530 degrees a second, or 550. And this, if we were correcting on forwards and backwards, but you can see now if we try and correct on forwards and backwards, forward, back, forwards, back, forward, it's too much. You can't actually correct that quickly. So exactly the same as before, we're going to drop one of the orientations. So we're only going to correct when the model's going forward. Now, it doesn't matter if it's forwards or backwards or whatever you choose. For instance, I think in Oggie's video, he likes to talk about focusing on the tail. So if it's easier for you to actually focus on making that change just when you're going backwards, go for it. I don't think there's any, whatever comes easier to you. You can do it forwards, you can do it in one of the left or right orientations, but I'm going to do it forward. So we'll start with straight line, forward, 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 forward. And exactly the same as in the medium speed ones, you're going to try and anticipate. Because the model is spinning so fast, you need to try and anticipate when it's going to hit forward. And here we're going to go forward, 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 forward. And we'll do the square. Other opposite side. Bring it back. Change the pirouette direction. Store, forward, forward, forward. And then you could take it into a loop. So every time it goes forward, 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 forward. Okay, I mean that's possibly cheating because I am stirring a bit. So maybe the loop is not a great exercise or example for that. Unless you made it bigger. We could try it bigger. So if we tried forward, 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 forward. Right, so you could do it. Let's go and try circuits. So now we're going to do a high-speed circuit. So we're only going to change when the model's facing forward. Stall, change direction. So are you focusing on when it's facing forward? Are you anticipating it as that nose swings underneath? Not the greatest example, but you get the idea. And then you want to be able to invert it as well. Every time that nose goes forward, you can see it coming around. Then what will happen is, although you're, I think a couple of things are actually happening. So one of them is that you're actually seeing the model. You actually know what the position of that model is at all times. The second is you're anticipating where it's going to be. So you're ready as it comes around. You're going to make that correction. And then I think one of the other things that happens is your fingers learn because you've kind of built up all the orientations. It won't be just in the forward position where you're correcting. You'll do the majority of your correcting in the forward position. But like as in the loop, you'll start your correction every time it's forward, 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 but you'll carry on that stir. And that'll just happen automatically over time. So every time that model is forward and slightly nose down, I'm going to change the orientation. And we can make it into a small one as well. We can carry on with a large one, make a small one. And that's it. I mean, I really hope that helps. So the basic rules are you've got to be able to do the 4 orientations, then you've got to do the 4-point paused pirouettes, the 2-point paused pirouettes, doing all of the same maneuvers. And then the slow pirouettes, you'll correct at all 4 points. At the medium pirouettes, you'll correct at 2 of the points. And at the fast pirouettes, you'll only correct at 1 of the points. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback on this. I'd love to hear whether it's actually working for you. Until next time.